And this collective, you are magic. You're magic. You are the sacred woman. All the years and all this path was preparing you to be a healer that will really have an important mission to fulfill on this earth. This is why your integrity and your commitment was tested all the time. They needed to make sure that your values and your integrity, your self-worth are unshakable. Are unshakable. They're not going to change. That you're not going to cave into, maybe you will meant to work with so many people and get some deals, for example. Maybe there's a reason it came to my mind. So maybe you're an artist as well, a creator. Maybe you write books, or you're meant to, or create certain contents, whether that's, oracle cards or books or whatever. And you're going to be working with people that will start to tell you, no, this is how you have to do it. You have to do it differently because this is what people want, because this is that sells better. I don't care what sells better. I don't care. I don't care what gets more views. Because that's not healer energy. That's not healer energy. Us healers, we have to use social media platforms and all these tools of communication as tools. But we're not content creators. We're not here. It's not like we are the product. Do you understand? It's difficult to explain. Like we are who we are, and if we're guided to use these tools, we use these tools. But it's not like not like those people that go on social media because they want to be viral to attract people and to grow their business, right? It's not like that for us. We are who we are. We have our messages. We have our integrity. We have our values. And our job is to spread those messages. We don't care how many people we want to hear. We have to have that unshakable strength and unshakable trust in the divine that whoever is meant to hear our messages will find us. Without marketing and promotion, and I talk about this all the time, you guys, all the time. So I feel we have to do what's coming for this collective as well, once we're done with everything that I told you that we would do. But yeah, I feel like they're preparing you for something. So let's do your third part, which is where you are in your connection with your masculine, and then we're going to do everything that I promised. So probably going to have 3 parts. All right, your connection. What's the quality right now when it comes to you healing your connection, right? Remember, I always say those 3 things, we have to have them on point on this journey. If the divine feminine is not able to heal the connection, and I often explain this to you guys, so many feminines forgets about this part. They heal themselves, they focus on their mission, and the masculine is like, no, I don't want it. You cannot not want it. He's the other part of you. He's the puzzle piece for the wholeness. Even if you're never gonna get this through your head, in the physical, we are the creatrix. You have to create the energy of union. You have to embody compassion, forgiveness, love, unconditional love to him in the 5D, even if he's not there. You cannot sit in a place of, I don't want it, he's behind, it's just too difficult to deal with. Because if you don't heal the connection, you will never get the completeness of this path, right? Okay, we have Ace of Swords, King of Wands, and 2 of Pentacles. There's a reason I was talking about this. It's good. It's good. We're going to need to discuss certain things, but it's good. Whew, this incense is on fire today. 2 of these. What's the as within, so without, as below, so above. That's how it goes. And that's what the feminists don't understand. For so long, you guys, you would be surprised. Sometimes years on end, they're healed as divine feminists. They walk their mission. They tapped into abundance, and they still don't understand. They still don't understand that this you cannot. They blame the masculines for not returning subconsciously and not healing and not doing the work. But the masculine can never, even if he wanted to, and they want to so much and so bad, the masculine cannot bring into physical fruition in the 3D something that his feminine has not created as a creatrix and a master of 5D in the spirit realm. It's impossible. So if you sit in this energy, I don't want it, I want to forget about it, it's too difficult, it will never come into fruition. It's not going to be his fault, okay? Because within, without, above, below, we're the above, we're the 5D. How can you have that below if you haven't created it? As it's your role as a creatrix. Peace. Peace and surrender at the bottom of the deck. Very nice. Very nice. It's nice. We just have to... I was onto something. That I was feeling this may be the final reading for this collective because you don't need me anymore. Interesting. Interesting. Do I have it all? Yes. All right. I feel like this collective, you would recently had a mindset shift when it comes. So maybe you didn't know everything that I just said. And maybe you had that revelation. Either because maybe you watch me and we discussed this for this collective. Either in a previous reading or 2 readings before. I remember that. I talk about this all the time. Or maybe you've heard a different true healer for the divines talk about this. Or maybe it just came to you in a download, right? But you had a change of mindset on how you treat your connection. You understood everything that I said, because sometimes for feminines, especially when you know the connection is very painful, when it's very individual how we approach this, right? I feel like those of us who are specifically, we're all on some level, we're all messengers of love, right? But some of us, I find specifically the second wavers, the love bugs, those led with love and passion, we're the love, goddesses of love and gods of love. We're those people that from the day we were born, every shooting star, we would ask for love. We would ask for romance. We love the romantic movies and the grand gestures and, you know, a king on a white horse, you know, conquering and, you know, the love of his queen. And we love that kind of stuff. So I find that for that group, it's sometimes a little bit easier to heal the connection because we have this unshakable belief and trust in love no matter what happens. And if you still struggle, this collective you wouldn't, but if you're watching despite the fact you're not part of this collective, I've done a video, it's part of my Divine Feminine Masterclass, it's about surviving in separation, and I talk about all these things. It's just this belief, unshakable belief in love. How could he not return, my king? Yes, he will. So for us, that group is, I find that it's usually a little bit easier to heal the connection. Maybe we struggle with the mission, maybe we struggle with, right? But the connection is something that we really want to heal, and we heal, right? The heartbreak. But sometimes not all of us are ruled are those gods and goddesses of love. Some of you are more, you know, you have more the energy of that earth of shamans, right? So you focus on the mission, on that life of service, and sometimes it's too difficult, it's too painful. Your hearts were very locked, right? So you sort of push it away because it's too difficult to deal with. You put it on a bench, right? I need to heal first a little bit, which is fine. Sometimes it's needed. if I see that the feminine is in so much pain that she cannot, focus on the healing of her own soul first, and tapping into her own mission, we do have that moment of, let's just put this on a bench. When it comes to the divine, let's just, this session or the next session, let's just not talk about your divine. Let's just put it on the side. Let's just forget about it for a moment, right? And it's okay. But many feminines forget to take that off the bench back to the field to deal with it, right? And it's important to deal with it. So maybe recently you realized that. And I feel like you started treated your connection differently. You really started understanding that it's a gift. It shouldn't be treated as something that it was just a catalyst to awaken me and now just forget about it because it might never happen. But it's a gift. May or might not ever happen as far as I'm concerned, because I'm the creatrix. It's already happening. It's already mine. Treat it as a gift, treat it as a ritual, treat it as if he was already here. I feel like you would have had that revelation. We have past life healing with the King of Wands. I'm hearing soul recall. I'm hearing past life healing as well. Maybe you've been either subconsciously or actually, not subconsciously, that's not the right word, in the background of your healing. Maybe you've had some visions from past life. Maybe you've been, because you guys, right? I always say this is teamwork. We heal the soul for both of us, right? And the masculine heals and clears the karma for both of us. 5D, 3D, right? Above, below, right? He deals with the matrix of the physical things. We deal with the spirit realm. So we have to heal our own soul, go through our own past lifetimes. But the moment comes, we have to help him heal past lives that created the wounding within him. So some of us, we can do that on actual sessions. If you're someone that you already have the capability, you can, go into meditation, you can go deeper on a shamanic journey, and you can access those Akashic records, whether you do that through your womb, but it's very different. Some of us just, it comes to you in a dream, you just process it, you just think about that, you just heal that, right? And you send that healing energy to him. So maybe you've been having some flashes of past life that he went through, that he had to heal, and you've assisted him in that healing. I find that the most painful lifetimes that we need to attend to when it comes to the masculines are the lives that they've lost us. And because this is what creates the biggest avoidance within them, right? The subconscious remembrance of a soul of past lives when they have lost us, right? When we have returned to spirit realm before them, and they literally, sometimes they have such painful memories of lifetimes that they literally held us in their arms, or they watched that, us being taken away physically from them, which creates within the soul, especially that mind, that if you've watched my Divine Feminine Masterclass, you would know this, that we get activated to the journey in that final life, that we have a chance to get into union, the grand finale, right? But the previous lifetimes that we live together, that we do have few always, few, couple dozens, depends on a pairing, we never come into union, and it's not even an option because we're not activated to the journey, right? We don't become those spiritual beings, we don't heal, it's just, right? So those lives only create woundings. And because of that, in many of those lives, it's a life of suffering, because we never get to, right? We either lose each other physically, which is a horrible trauma that we cannot deal with because we don't have yet the maturity of the soul and the resources as we have now, or we cannot just make it work, whether that's societal issues, in different times. So if he's lost you, it's something that must have been healed. So it would sort of make sense if this is really your collective. Maybe you had some dreams, you had some memories, maybe you've been, sometimes you guys, not all of us are tapped in the same way. Some of us are very conscious of this underworld, right? Of the spirit realm, very connected to the void. So through the dream or through a vision, you know exactly what you're seeing. But for some of us, for example, it can be a moment that you're watching a movie and there's a scene when he or she in a pairing goes back to spirit realm, returns home, and it puts you in a distress. You start crying, you don't know what's going on. I think I've done a video about this way a long time ago, explaining to you guys that whatever activates us that much, watching movies, reading books, it's because we experience it in past lifetimes and it's being activated within our soul. Because think about this, there are many sad things that happen in movies, and some of us touch us more than others, right? So maybe you've seen something, or you've heard a story, or read a book, and it sort of puts you in this moment of distress and you started thinking about this. So even if it's subconscious, I feel like you would have been healing elements of past lives that also created some wounding within him. To approach this, really, it's time to close this. You have the maturity, you have the fierceness to close this already. And we have Two of Pentacles, and we have solar plexus. And I was hearing a lone wolf with this. I feel when it comes to your connection, you've been balancing. You are right now in a moment of peace. You are in a moment of peace. You've balanced. You understand. Maybe you have moments of sadness, moments when you miss him. It's normal, right? It's normal. We're humans. It's not that we don't have emotions when we heal. We'll always have emotions. Emotions is what we want to have, right? In this human body. But it's like you embrace it. You understand. We have that dragon in the past spread. You would have really strong solar plexus now. You're very much boom, boom. Honey, I know we are two lone wolves. We're sovereign beings, but one soul and one consciousness. One day you will find your way back to me. And I want to be the one that creates that first above, so you can ground it into existence below. Because I am your creatrix. You would have balanced these you're no longer denying the connection. You're no longer, right? And with that peacock, the peacock is about that we're only beautiful externally as we're beautiful within. And when I saw this peacock, I started thinking exactly that, as within, as without. What's the saying? I get confused, but you know what I mean. All right, you guys, very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. I want to real quick tap into the energy of your masculine, because sometimes it happens, you guys, that, we walk this path like this, but sometimes it's like this and they catch up, they're not always, we're equals, we're one, they're not never that far away. Oh, and we had dating. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So I was, maybe it's coming. Or maybe you already actually have something planned, this collective. That's why I want to tap into your masculine, your connection, and what's coming. Let's start from your masculine. Hold on. Let's just pull like 4 cards. Where he's at on his journey. Where he's at on his journey. What he's working on right now. You can test your intuition. Think to yourself before I talk through this. Where you think he's at? There's a reason it came to my mind. Where you think he's at on his journey. Okay. There's energy of deep contemplation here, definitely. We have eliminate distractions, and I was thinking that you had the focus card as well. So you would be both quite focused right now. So he would be eliminating distractions, setting his eyes on a target, right? It's this energy I'm feeling of, if I know that this doesn't fit into my life, the future life that I want, I'm not going to be focusing on it. He wants to, it's this energy of being closer to alignment, but he wouldn't be using, the word alignment, but it doesn't matter. It's just label, right? It's like I feel this masculine, he's now choosing himself. He's now choosing his path. He no longer allows distractions. And the reason I said there's a contemplation, because we have 3 cards that are from the matrix category, so the Coyote category, and we have expecting the worst, questioning everything, and looking closer. I feel, you guys, that this is a moment of really deep contemplation for this masculine. And with this expecting the worst, number 19, I don't think he's expecting the worst right now. I think he's questioning why he was expecting the worst always. Why didn't he believe in his path, in the journey, in certain things being able to come into fruition? You had a change of mindset when it comes to your connection. Confirmation. Hold on. Have to close the window. So you had that moment of change of mindset when it comes to your connection. And I say this all the time. You're the creatrix. We're always connected through red threads and telepathy. One mind. Telepathy, if you haven't watched that video that I've done, you should. Every Divine Feminine should, about telepathy. You can find it on my Divine Love playlist on my YouTube. But it's not that it's my mind to your mind. I know what you're thinking, but we're thinking the same thing. Because telepathy is possible with twin souls or higher soulmates, because we're of same frequency. The object of soulmates are similar frequency, but twin souls, we're the only object in the universe that are of same frequency, because although we are sovereign, fully sovereign, we are one soul. Without this human bodies, we get sucked in back to each other, because we are one soul, one consciousness. So we think, so whatever the quality of your thoughts, this is why the feminine needs to shift that mindset, create different quality of your thoughts. So because you started thinking differently, you're allowing him the space. We have to create, we are that womb, right? For things to come into fruition. The womb, in order for baby to grow, right, needs to be welcoming, needs to create this space. I always say this to you guys, that our connection, I've mentioned this in one of the videos, surely, that the greatest analogy is the egg in the womb and the little swimmer. You have to be welcoming. How do you want the swimmer to power through and be the strongest, swimmer, if you're not creating the welcoming environment? So if you're sitting in this, I don't want it, it's not inviting. You have to sit in unconditional love, in release, in surrender, right? Already are in union. And this is what gives him space in the environment to release the resistance, to feel the pull, and to start that final chapter of alignment. So he's questioning everything now. He's realizing that he's been not seeing things the right way. So now he's questioning. He's looking closer at everything. I feel there's still, so maybe you did have a point of contact. We're going to tap into that in a moment. Maybe you had a point of contact with that dating. Maybe it's coming. But I feel like there is some energy of preparation for that. It's like they're very logical beings, remember. It's like he wants to get things right now. Really focusing on figuring this out, I'm hearing. Question everything. Why didn't I believe in this before? He's starting to realize really, really profoundly that we are bound by conditioning. All of us, more than we could ever imagine. And this journey is about reprogramming, releasing the conditioning, right? Let's pull a couple of these for you. What's going on in your connection? What's going on now in your connection? And we're going to do what's coming as well. Okay. We have Leo, maybe that's a detail. 86, maybe that's also significant. Sagittarius. One more for first row. That's so weird, you guys. That's so weird. I'm gonna have to do another row and clarify. It's like it doesn't... There's a lot of fire energy, so maybe it's a detail for one of you, because we have Sagittarius, Leo, so that's fire energy. Maybe you're a fire sign, maybe both of you are fire signs. I feel like sort of that's the topic of contemplation, because with what we have mentally materialistic, right? And we have false flame. Fulfillment. I feel there's a lot going on in this masculine's head. Let's clarify, okay? Let's clarify, because I feel like he's thinking about maybe he is a very fiery person. Maybe in your connection, a lot of things that were said, he's regretting. He's hearing these things in his head and thinking about this. Be very mindful of things that are coming to your mind, because again, remember, there's a reason I've mentioned this to you as well. We're one mind, one consciousness. So sometimes you're thinking about a memory, and why am I thinking about this? I haven't thought about this before, because he's thinking about it. You're on the same channel. It's as easy as that. It's like there's two receptors, right? It's like you hear what, it's like you're having the same thoughts, because he's creating these thoughts. So maybe he is thinking about that in the past he was a bit jealous, possessive, pretentious, show off, dramatic. I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have said, in anger or in fear. Too focused on materialistic things, on money. Visionary. Feeling hopeful and empowered. Thinking positively, moving forward. Beginning to think about or planning future with imagination or wisdom. I think there's a lot of things that are being released, because you've opened, finally you've opened the environment for it. It's like I'm seeing, they're showing me, it's like your guides were really pushing you and trying you to get you to do this, right? So it's like they had all these things that they wanted to push and download into your masculine, but they couldn't, because you weren't creating the environment for it. So you change your mindset, you've opened, you started thinking differently about this relationship, and boom, now he's bombarded with all the things that he had to process. And I always say this to you guys, before the Satori, they go through this crush course as they awaken, right? But it takes as long as it takes for us to create the environment. I think this is all oh my god, I'm so confused, you guys. We're gonna have to do what's coming, because your energy is just wonderful, right? Wonderful. And his energy was good as well. But what we're seeing here, that's not what I was expecting. But I feel this is just looking closer at everything. That this is why I think this is what would be on his mind. Past life, maybe this is it. Thank you. It just came to my mind. I feel this is it, you guys, because this is what they've been showing to me, right? That there were so many things that they wanted him to process, that they wanted him to figure out. but they were sort of like, imagine like this box of stuff above someone, right? It is just being held there. And they were waiting